Alright, welcome to the last part of this. I still have a few things to do before we can play, or I can play this and show how it sounds. I would like to fit the new bridge to the top. Of course I would keep the original one, but I think, I don't know, I like this bridge on this guitar personally. And I already made it, so I have to use it now. You can always swap back to the other one, it's no problem. So this has to be fitted. Then I still have to install a pickup, and I will use a output jack here. Install the tuners, of course, no big thing. Then, you know, tune it up and see how everything is going. Usually there's a few minor things have to be adjusted and taken care of once the strings are on. We'll see. But the next step is to put on the bridge. So I will be very careful with this, and I will certainly not glue any kind of sandpaper or the self-adhesive sandpaper you can use on most modern lacquers, but on this vintage style shellac it's too risky. I don't want to create new problems here, so I'll probably put a piece of paper on top and then sandpaper on top of that. All right, let's go. Oh yeah, they still need a bone insert. I still have to decide which strings to use, because if you plan on using flat wounds, this bone insert has to be usually a bit different. Or actually, no, it doesn't. Just for electric guitar strings it would have to be different, because on electric strings the G string is plain. On acoustic strings usually it's wound still, so I'm pretty sure this will be played either with flat wounds or acoustic strings, so I will make a insert that fits that, you know, G string. All right, let's go. Okay, I put a piece of paper on top and two little clamps with fret erasers to keep this page from moving when I sand it. And it's pretty handy, you know, that you can't really move it at all. But I will, of course, before I start sanding here, I will try to take the profile of the original bridge and, you know, put it on this bridge first, because that will save me a lot of sanding time here. Okay, interestingly enough, this original bridge base is completely flat. While actually this top has a light curve, so I'm not sure if it would never properly fit it or the curve of the top changed. And also, you know, here in the middle we have a bit of a dip anyway, so that plan apparently doesn't work. So I have to come up with the next one. This guitar has a scale of 640 millimeters. And here. Classic. Alright, I'll just mark the position where the bridge has to sit. The problem is marking on the sandpapers, of course, that this line will disappear once I start sanding. So I really have to have some points here. Okay. Have to change this a bit. Okay, I marked here the middle, and now I put it on this device you can buy. It's Mag. It's for this job. It does its job well, and I will roll that on the middle line here, and see how it goes. Of course, you still have to adjust the height here. But this bridge fitting is certainly one of the most complicated things there is. To get this perfect is incredibly, it's very difficult. Okay, what I can do now is to mark down here with a pencil and see where it takes stuff away, and where you take stuff away with a sandpaper, you can come back with a chisel, no, not with a chisel, with a scraper, and take off a bit. Actually, surprisingly in the middle. So I like this scraper for that. And next round, this has to be repeated a lot of times. We'll see how often. Okay, I would see, I will repeat it a few times and turn the camera back on. Okay, it's a few more rounds and you can see this area where it goes away. It's getting wider and wider, and I want to see it pretty much go all the way to the end. So this takes a while. You can really see that now it's getting, sanded on all its lengths, what, takes a lot longer at the end, at the start. And to get this really perfect is sometimes impossible, because once again, under string tension, this top will usually move slightly, and, you can't really sand it under string tension. I don't know, never seen a way. Maybe there's a way. Anyway, it doesn't have to be 100% perfect, it just has to be pretty good. Usually these Archtops have these two braces here, and you really want to make sure that the pressure from the bridges is also coming on the braces. You don't want to be at the end or in the middle on some weird points. It really has to be distributed. I think sound transfer, this is already good enough. It's just a visual thing that you want it properly fitted. You know, that looks like proper work then. You know, it has to look good, it has to work good. And I think we're already at the point where it works well, but I still want to get rid. There's a bit of gap on the wings at the back. I want to get closer, but still. And to come perfectly level here would probably still take 3 times as long as I did now. I already did like, I don't know, 10 to 15 rounds of this sanding and scraping. But I will still do 10 more roughly and then see how good it looks. You can see that everything is kind of even, but there's 2 wings here. And scraping. Okay, this is a few more rounds. I think I did 5 more. I will do another 5 and then check again. And I think I will stop then. It's good enough. Okay, this was 5 more rounds. And I'm gonna stop for now. I think this will be fine. And if it's not good enough, I will come back later and continue. I will, you know, it's hard to tell how this will really look like as long as there's no string tension and there's the sandpaper and paper and everything. So this is good for now, and let's just scrape this corners off and then install everything. Okay, I made a small bone insert and fit it into this channel. It's this narrow vintage size, 2.2 or so millimeters or 4. This has still a straight top, and as I remember the fretboard radius was 6. I will now put a 7.25 radius in this, because anyway the low E string has to be a bit, you know, further up. And then on this side I maybe go down a bit still, but also you can make this groove for the high E string just a tad lower and the B string. And then it pretty much follows the radius of the fretboard. I'll just do that with a sanding beam. You know, this will be... I will just do that straight for now and later add the bevel with a file. Okay, this is not very pleasing to watch, so I will turn the camera off. What I will do here is then mark this, and now it's gray, and when I scrape it off everywhere, it's done. And this is how it looks like. On the high E string, of course, it can be a bit flatter. here a bit higher. I still polish it a bit up to, I don't know, 1.5, and I can really finally assemble the guitar. Okay, here's the tuners. I will still lightly oil them, lubricate them, put them on, put the tailpiece on, and then probably also the pickguard. I'll think about it. Okay, these tuners, they're not bad, but also they have this common flaws that many old tuners have. This middle button on the, where will it be? On the A side has a bit of a tight spot once around, because I think on this side there's a bit of a bend in the metal, and it kind of, I'm not able to get that out. And here's one button that is, which one is it? This was a bit bent, the shaft. I could de-bend it a bit, but it's really hard metal and I don't want to force more. This is alright now. No, this one actually here. But it won't be a problem to play this guitar and tune this guitar. And they are the original tuners, so I will leave them on. And if anyone ever wants to decide to swap them, it's, you know, it's something you can always do at any point. I think they will still be fine. Another question is, do you add tuner buttons to this? Not tuner buttons, bushings, because many of these GDR made Archtops, they never had any, and you know, that's how they are. And since if this were a player, I would add some, but the holes kind of stayed the same size and it doesn't look worrisome to me, so I will leave it as it is. It's also something you can do at any time if needed. Another question is, do you add tuner buttons to this? Not tuner buttons, bushings, because many of these GDR made Archtops, they never had any, and you know, that's how they are. And since if this were a player, I would add some, but the holes kind of stayed the same size and it doesn't look worrisome to me, so I will leave it as it is. It's also something you can do at any time if needed. Okay. Tuners are on. Next step will actually be to put the pickguard on and the pickup. Because I still want to ground this to the tailpiece, I will wait until I put the tailpiece on. And the pickguard still needs a bit of glue here and there. It's also a bit bended into a curve. Question is, do you try to bend that straight? And I don't want to do that because of all the plastic. I would have to use heat, and I certainly don't want to try that. But there's still some open joints here and there. I will still re-glue this a bit. And then I still have to add a longer wire to the pickup, an output jack, okay, my plan is to have this kind of output jack at the end block, and before I drill a hole there for 12mm, I have to check if the end block is actually the right size to fit this. Because if it's thicker than this, of course I can't install this. So I have to check first. I also already connected a long wire here. It's not the prettiest, but it will be hidden under the pickguard, and I didn't want to open up the thing. Pretty long. Sorry. And yeah, we're getting close. To enlarge that hole, I used a 10mm countersink and then a 12mm countersink to have a hole in the right size, and then drilled through with a Forstner bit, and that kind of rather is pretty stress-free and no tear out and all the issues. Okay, I installed the pickup and the output jack here, and there's a little wire going from a tailpiece holder to the jack. So this is grounded. Okay, I started out with one screw on each side because I want to see where the strings are, and I can still kind of height adjust the thing. You can actually, this is pretty tight. If you want it, leave it like this, and then you can, you know, this is more or less like a volume and sound control. But I don't know, maybe it's better if they're really, if you really play it, then it might move, and it's not, you know, if you're very careful, you could do that. And for drilling this holes at the side, I'm just using this kind of extension, because this is a difficult place to drill, really. Now I would like to, because this wire here is hanging around here and it will scratch on the surface, this metal wire, I would like to attach that somehow to the pickguard. So I need to come up with a solution to, you know, have a little holder here or something. Okay, I checked and there's enough space down here, so I just glued on a piece of wood with a little holder, and I hope the wire will go inside here and you can pull it out, put it in if needed, but it will not be on the top. Let's see if it works. Okay, that worked, and now I come to the great moment of putting on the strings. Yee-ho! Voila! Okay, there's one thing to do for sure at the moment, and that is slotting this. So I will check out the spacing of the two E strings and then slot this. I already action is pretty low. It's promising, it's good. Well, I forgot to bevel this first, so now I have to slightly re-slot. Okay, I put both screws in now, and you know, you have to be careful that the distance is equal, more or less on the same length. Look, this Relog pickup has 5 4-piece screws. What is normal, is not one missing because of this B string issue. And you can, you know, loosen those screws, you know, and move those around. Check out where you're happy with the sound. So this is what I'm going to do now, because I think the 4-piece screws have to be further out, especially these 2 ones, and then I will see when the strings are more or less balanced. I played it now and actually it was more or less fine, but I think there's still room for improvement. Ah! Guck mal, da ist nämlich jetzt das passiert. Okay, I wanted to make the bridge a bit lighter, and I saw this on Roger bridges, and yeah, here we go. I'm not sure how much that will do, but it's worth a try. Okay, it's now 1.5 weeks later roughly. The guitar was under full string tension with 012 Adagio flat ones the whole time, and I have about 1.5 millimeters on a low E and a bit less on a high E. What is probably too low. I just wanted to see that it's possible, and there's no buzzing or bad spots or anything. I can play at the moment. I will play when this is done. As always, there's one more thing that I didn't see coming, and that is that this pickguard is sometimes just falling out here. It's there's no screw in here, and this is like kind of not tight enough anymore. So I either have to put a screw in here or make this holes tighter again. So I think, yeah, let me think. By the way, I took something off a bridge, and I have a feeling that it might be a little bit more resonant with less weight. What is possible? It's not dramatic. It's might make a small difference or not. So anyway, I will now take off the pickguard and add a little tiny screw from below that, you know, kind of stops the pickguard from moving in this direction. Okay, I will just put this little screw in here, and that will kind of lock this in place, hopefully. Also, I put a little bit of super glue on these. It probably doesn't do anything because I didn't clean them before, but I just thought, just a tad. But the main thing is this one. Okay, change of plan. I do it properly and put a M3 thread in this holder and take a metric screw, and then you can do that on and off without having to worry. Voila! What a construction. So this has to be parallel to the strings, of course, more or less. This actually, with the super glue, did a trick pretty well. They're pretty fine in here. This is super tight. This pickguard is resting on the bridge, just when you put your finger on. Otherwise, it's a tad above. I like it when you play with fingers. If I can rest my fingers here. This is a personal question. You can, of course, take a bit away from the bridge and, you know, put a nail here or something and force this a bit further down. Well, this is a personal question for me. This is, I have to position the bridge here because this is where it intonates, right? So I think the original bridge had more of a curve here. I think this is actually good because when a lot of people rest their fingers on here when they're playing, and this is like very firm. So for some people this is ideal, for other people it might be annoying. But I will leave that as it is, because for me it feels good. Well, I think I'm done. Am I? Ta-da! It looks a bit better, but mostly it plays a lot better. So that's of course shitty YouTube content because you can't see it. That's why I guess it makes sense on YouTube to focus on visual stuff, but this wasn't meant to be here. I'm very happy the way this turned out. It's placed basically almost like new, with about 1.5 millimeter on a low E and I don't know, 1.4 on a high E something. Yeah. So I guess I talked enough. I'm happy this worked out well, and I'm not sure if there's more to say. I think not. So I'm just gonna play a bit with over pickup first, and then second without pickup. But since this is a plug and play thing, I have to switch it off in between. Okay, now without pickup. I think this Adagio Chrome's flat wounds really sound good with pickup, but I'm not a huge fan of them in an acoustic setting. I think the Tomastic, I like them better there, but I didn't have any at hand, and I really wanted to play this thing, and I think with the pickups this Adagio Chrome sound really great, but without, I think this round wounds was give a bit more liveliness to this guitar. But depending on the style you want to go to, of course this is usable. This is a really now a swing jazz sound. Though I think this has a certain amount of bass. This is not one of those that is completely dead in the lower regions. And of course, if you want to play it without pickup, 1.5mm action with 012 strings is too low. You lose tone. There's just no way around it. It's a compromise between playability and sound. I think if you want to play this acoustically, you should go up at least to 2mm with 012 strings. But depends how you play it. If you play carefully, this is fine. But if you hit it really, then you see it's just not coming to its full potential here. When I show those guitars, I always try to understand the guitar and understand what will sound good on the guitar, and I'm just going along as I play. That's why you see me swapping from different styles. I hope I'm not a real jazz person. I'm just trying to get some jazz sounds out of it. I feel more at home with blues, I guess. But I always try to understand and imagine what would make sense to play on this guitar. And then try to manage to play that, what sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. But still good for an impression, I guess. And I like to play low E, so you see what is the lower capabilities of the guitar. I also like to play open strings with you know, these chords here, because that will show you that intonation is pretty good. If the bridge is on the wrong position and this is not set up well, this would sound awful here. Anyway, I think this is the end of a line. Maybe in 1 year or so I will upload this kind of really big restoration once in a while. I don't know, it's harder than it looks like, and it's not like a lot of people watch it anyway, so I probably have some smaller restoration videos. I wanted to do one where I rewind a Höfner pickup and something like this, but mostly playing, I guess. Anyway, thanks for those few who managed to follow to the end. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you around another time, and have a good time.